It's day 22, which means that we're 22 days in, obviously. And as the title suggests, I played 3 shows in 3 days on 3 hours of sleep. And I'll play some shows with music, especially during college. 2021 and 2022 was a little slower, especially 2020. A lot of stuff got canceled for me, a lot of shows that I was gonna play. But in this situation, oh man, it was a time. So I booked a show with my college and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so hype. They were paying me $500 to DJ a show for an hour and a half for a party, like an on-campus party that was going on. So I had that going on. Then I had another show that I knew about on Saturday because that college show was on Friday. The silent disco festival that I was playing was on Saturday. And then Sunday I had one more show, also in Texas. So my first show was in North Carolina, my second show was in Texas, and my third show was in Texas, but another part. So I was like, oh gosh, did not realize when I was booking them, because I was booking them separately. So the college came first, they asked me to do the deal. I was like, sure, I'll do it. They knew about my music already. I didn't really ask. They just wanted an on-campus student to play alongside these musicians. And then from there, they asked me, a group that I played some music with asked me to do a silent disco. So I was like, oh, that sounds fun. I never did one of those before. And it was like the most shows I ever had at one time. So I accepted that too. And now you see a pattern because I accepted the Sunday show as well. And when I looked at my calendar and planned everything out, and this was way before I was more organized, I looked and realized that it was all on the same weekend. And I was playing the show in North Carolina until about midnight. Then I'd have to play the show in Houston at 12:30 p.m. on Saturday. So it was a time. About it, I was like, how am I going to make this work? And the only way that I was able to make it work was by getting a flight from Atlanta. Now, mind you, North Carolina to Atlanta, not close, but the flight from Atlanta to Houston was cheaper and at a better time than anything from North Carolina. So I booked an Atlanta flight to Houston. And I was like, okay, this will work. But it took off at 7 a.m. Now, North Carolina to Atlanta is about 5.5 hours from where I was coming from. And my show ended at 12, but I was supposed to be in the airport before 7 o'clock. Like my plane took off at 7. So I played the show in North Carolina at my college, and my dad and my sister stopped by my school and said, Mac, get in the car. We're driving you to Atlanta. You'll get on the plane there. You'll take your stuff. You'll go to the Airbnb in Houston, get ready for the show, play the show, run the merch table, get a little bit of sleep, and then be at another show the next day. I was like, okay, works for me. Show in North Carolina went well. Got in the car with my family and drove the 5.5 hours. They were real ones for that. 5.5 hours down to Atlanta. Now, mind you, Atlanta traffic is bad no matter what time. It's obviously better in the middle of the night, but by the time we got to Atlanta, like we were sitting in the airport waiting for me to get in for like 30 minutes, at least 30 to 45 minutes. So by that point, it was like 6, and I had to board my plane by like 6:55. And Atlanta's pretty big, and all that traffic and stuff suggested to me that I may not make it through security. I got through security. I literally ran to my terminal and my gate, and I got to the gate at like 6:54. Like they were about to like close, and I barely slid through with my stuff. Now, mind you, I only have a backpack. I used to carry very minimalist packing, and I might show y'all how I like actually take stuff with me, like my DJ controller and stuff. But I had a backpack with my DJ controller, my clothes, and I had a pair of shoes on it, and all my stuff, like my computer and all my clothes for the weekend and everything with it. So that's the setup. Run through the gate, get on the plane. Now, I didn't really sleep in the car because I was so anxious that I was gonna miss my plane that I didn't really sleep until I got to the plane. But on the plane, it was really turbulent, and the guy next to me was like slamming down drinks and just like anxious and shaky. And I'm not great with planes either, and I didn't ride a lot of planes up until college. So like I was only riding planes for music. So when I was riding this one, I was like, oh gosh. And Atlanta to Houston's not that much of like a ride. It's only like an hour and a half or something like that. So I fell asleep for about 45 minutes. Got to Houston, 45 minutes of sleep. Then, well actually, I got like 30 minutes of sleep in the car. I think that was about it. So 45 and 30 minutes. So we're at like an hour and some change. They put me in a car, they pick me up, they take me to the Airbnb, like the group. They kind of show me around Houston a little bit. My show was at 2, so I didn't have a lot of time to sleep, and they wanted to do some shopping and see like the mall and get some clothes for the show. Now I came along because the Airbnb was so chaotic. There were so many people about to play because this Airbnb had like 20 people in it. And I was like, oh yeah, this is not gonna work. So I can't sleep here. So I went with them to the mall. I got some shoes, more comfortable shoes to play a show in. And by that point, they were like, oh, we gotta get to the venue. Because the venue, Houston's big. So the venue took like an hour and a half to get to. And I was like, oh my gosh, man. And this is August in Houston. So it was like 105 degrees and it was humid. Like I was sweating. Like I absolutely hate humidity. It was like 100% humidity, super hot. I was like, I can't do this, man. So we got into the car, we did the hour and a half to the show, and we ended up playing our show. It was really good. The silent disco was really fun. There were like 3 stages, and we were one of the stages, and then there were 2 other kinds of stages, like hard style, dubstep type vibes. And we played, it was a bunch of people there. That was the time where Kai Dreams was playing there, a few other people, if you haven't heard of them already. Like one of the major shows I played with a bunch of different artists, and I had a ball. It was fun. But after all of that was said and done, we all like took turns manning the merch table, and I went to the merch table and I was tired, like dead tired, because I literally did not sleep. I slept for like, what, an hour and a half? Maybe hour 45? So I was done. I was just like at the merch table. Basically, anyone could have took whatever they wanted. I'm sorry to y'all. I just wasn't in the right headspace. I did not plan that effectively. So once we finished at the merch table and the show finished, it was about 12. They drove us back to the Airbnb, and at the Airbnb, everyone was like, oh, we have to be out of here by 6 to go to the other Airbnb. So it was like 2 o'clock when we got back because it was a long drive. It was about an hour and a half, and then getting everyone together, wrangled, and getting them in the cars, it was like an hour and a half. So everyone was like, oh, we have to clean up and everything. I was like, look, y'all, I will clean up in a moment, but I cannot keep my eyes open. Like, I'm not good right now. I am not good. They're like, okay, that's fine. Just get some sleep and then, you know, wake up when you can. I was like, okay. So I got an hour of sleep, and I woke up to help everyone at the Airbnb. We moved to the other Airbnb during the day. We got out at 6 and we stayed there. It was 13 of us in like a 5-bedroom. And there were Airbnb issues. The first Airbnb we went to had like a bachelor party there. There was still stuff. There was people's credit cards. There was like shoes and clothes and stuff all over the place. And we were like, called Airbnb, got a refund, or got transferred to a different one. So we finally got to that one about 11, 12, about 12, like noon. And we were like, okay, it's been long. Finally can get some rest, right? But me, not being the planning person that I was, realized that I had a networking computers test that I had to do before Monday, and it was Sunday. So it was due Sunday by evening, and I had one more show I had to play. I only had time to do the test when everyone was there. Basically, we were all sitting around, everyone was like kind of partying, having fun, because they couldn't really do it the night before, but they were super hyped about the silent disco, and I was in the corner, headphones on, with a laptop, doing my network and computers test and hoping that I didn't fail off of nearly 3 hours of sleep, not even quite 3 hours of sleep yet. So I took the test in the corner. People are trying to talk to me. I'm like, hey, look, I'm taking the test real quick. So this is not gonna work. Finally got the test through and got ready to drive to the next set. The drive to that set was an hour, and it was just a small club. The silent disco was about 300 people or so. The club was like 50 or 60. Played that one, and then I was finally done. I got to go back to the Airbnb and hang out with everybody up in a master bedroom closet, because there were 13 of us in 5 bedrooms, and many were sharing beds or sleeping out in the living room area. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I slept next to a vacuum cleaner in the closet. It was a master closet, and it fit like a little cot mattress type thing in it. It was like a high-rise situation in Houston. So I went there, fell asleep. Next day, everyone was like, that was so fun. We should do something like that again. And I literally was a zombie. That was like the first time I had gotten sleep, because Friday night didn't sleep, Saturday night slept an hour, and then I finally slept Sunday night. And honestly, everyone was partying and having so much going on. I didn't fall asleep till like 1 or 2. So, and I woke up at 7 with everybody else because they wanted to get breakfast and everything. So by the time that whole weekend was over, I got like 3 hours of sleep from Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday I didn't sleep at all until literally like Monday morning, like 3 a.m. Monday morning, and we had a good time. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was super fun, and like I guess it's part of the artist experience of like not getting much sleep, but oh gosh, I can't survive without sleep anymore. So like I was only like 21 then, but I feel like an old bat now at 26. And like I have to be to bed by like 11 or 12. I can't pull those all-nighters anymore. So it takes me out now. It was super fun. Met super cool people. A lot of people were playing there and checking it out, and it was a good time. If you find other stories interesting like this, let me know in the comments, and subscribe if you want to subscribe and want to hear more about the small independent artist journey. And I will see you tomorrow.